Hey, this is a quick proof of concept for a cruise type missile. Uh, I did this in about 20 minutes this morning, waiting for my family to arrive so we can go on a road trip. But I just really wanted to get this done. Didn't take much. So it looks silly, right? But it works. And this is just a concept. So I've got a flogger, MiG-23 flogger. It's got a single turbine, which would make it look decent if it actually does show some kind of afterburner ever. But what we're going to do is disable geo on this, so you won't see it, right? And what we're going to do is attach a missile to it using the attach to command that you will see. The reason I'm doing this is you can give aircraft waypoints, right? So if you need a way to just set up a target on land, what you want to do is put your first waypoint at an altitude where it does the takeoff, and then set the other one on your target at 0 altitude. And you can figure out the rest from there. You really need to strap an IED to it as well, and then have the IED go off when it gets within X distance from your target. Otherwise, the aircraft's going to just pull up because it doesn't want to crash. You may have to interpolate the final movements of the aircraft. So when I get within, let's say, 500 meters of my target, interpolate from my current position to my target, and then set off the ID when my distance to my target is like 1 or something like that. Anyway, this is just to get you on your feet. And so I'm going to demonstrate this right now, and then we're going to get into how it works. It's going to be pretty quick. Let's go to Dev Console. To launch this, all I'm going to do is enable simulation on this aircraft. There it goes. Alright, so imagine there's a missile attached to that, and it's going to just follow its waypoints now. And about right here, it's going to start pulling up. So you're going to need to interpolate, grab its position, and then interpolate it to the target, which is this little truck down here, and then blow it up. But the concept works to launch a missile, and I'll try to show you that as well. Let's go ahead and restart it in the battle space and show you what's going on. Silence my phone so it stops giving me these indicators. But yeah, so I've got a lot of other things going on here that I'm working to, but here's the setup. I've got this ship. It's a Slava class, right? And so I created this MiG-23 just on the sea here, right? And I positioned it where I wanted it, and then I got its location modeled world to model, which tells me, let's see, world to model is going to give me its offset on the ship. So it's 1 to the right, and this is maybe inverted. You may have to flip-flop this. It might be +1 to the right and +48 to the front of the ship, because for whatever reason, seacraft are backwards for some reason. But then, if you actually want to employ this, the ship is called S1, model to world, and then you actually put in the coordinates, and it will give you the real live coordinates of where it goes in the world. Anyway, that's world to model, model to world. I'm not going to do a whole lesson on that, but you can look it up in the wiki. But position it where you want it, and then there's also a command to get pitch bank. Let's do that real quick. Let's do S1 or M1. That's the name of the aircraft. MiG-1, M1. Call get pitch bank. Pitch bank. I could remember it. Let me go in here and just take a look here. Just double click this. Edit. Here it is. That's set pitch bank. So it's function VBS get pitch bank. So let me go ahead and just copy this. But so yeah, we're going to go in here, and just so you can see what it looks like, we're going to call, we don't want to set, it's going to mess things up. Let me put it up here so I don't mess it up and change this to get. As soon as I drop it in this line, it's going to execute that code. We don't want to execute it. We want to do SM1. Alright, so that's going to give you its pitch currently, and it should be 0, and it will be 0 when you start it. The first number is what I'm looking for. How angled is it? It's about 22 to 23 degrees pointed up. Alright, so what I did was I go in here into the MIG, and its init commands. I'm going to work from backwards to forwards. Alright, the last thing you want to do is enable simulation false, because you won't be able to do all this other stuff if simulation is disabled. So you do that last. We're going to do our set pitch bank, and here's the numbers I got. This is M1, so we could do M1 or this right here. There's the degree of angles you want up. You want it to be level wings 0, right? And then true, you want it to apply that information immediately. All right, and then what we have here, the very first thing we're going to do is set its position. So we're going to take this, which again is M1. We're going to set its position with reference to S1, which is my ship. The model to world position we got earlier, and I inverted these. It was -8 and -48. It's actually +8 and +48-ish. And then I played with the elevation, and I found out about 8 gets it where it needs to go. So when I start this mission, which I'm about to do right now by hitting H on my keypad, I have some things set up here from another demo that I ran earlier. But let's just go to our ship and see what happens. You can see that this aircraft automatically positions itself where it needs to be ready for launch. Now the reason it's angled off to the right is because it has a waypoint, or I just haven't set the angle properly. And you can adjust that too just by rotating. Select the aircraft, rotate it. Got simulation disabled on it. But regardless, you can play around with that in the OME so that it's perfect for you when it takes off. Okay. You can also take this waypoint and move it. Just unselect everything. It's a little slow because it's still loading crap civilians in. Trying to get it unselected. Yeah, sometimes it just wants to take its sweet time. So let me just pause the video for a second. Alright, I think I figured I had to go back into player mode, but you should be able to click it on the map at least. Hold shift and right click and drag to rotate the aircraft, however you want to rotate it. But you should also be able to grab the waypoint and position it. The point is, you get it all set up in this training, like in the trial run, and then you measure what the actual angles are and everything you need, and then you go and make that so. Like, for whatever reason, this is just way off. So I'm just moving my waypoint to where it's in front of the ship. Apparently the ship is facing in a weird direction, and the icon isn't matching. Anyway, so something like that should work. Now the aircraft is all cattywampus again. You just shift and rotate. Alright, again, it's all messed up because I moved it after I started it, but the point is when you initialize this aircraft, you want it to be right where the tube is and get all the right numbers for that. A little trial and error. There's some code for creating waypoints that I'm hesitant to send because I don't want to give everything away. There's a lot of proprietary stuff there. Hopefully you've got a way to make waypoints in script. If not, you can do it manually like this. But let's just go ahead. So now here we are again. We're lined up. Let's say we just started the mission. We're going to go to Dev Console and enable simulation true. And it's going to make a fool out of me. There we go. It launched. All right, and so what you would also do is put some smoke. When you enable simulation true simultaneously, you could do like a create indirect damage. All right, let's just watch this aircraft now. All right, and let's say you had a missile strapped to this thing. Yeah, it's not flying all that soundly. Right, and then it would burn in, but your IED would go off as well. Now, if you're coming from very far away, it should look a lot better because it will have plenty of time to stabilize the flight. I'm trying to turn it very short distance. But anyway, that's the proof of concept. If you need me to show you real quick, let me just restart this one more time. And you ought to know the attach to command by now, or somebody on the team should. But let's just go through that real quick. The other thing we could do is if the ship's moving, you're going to want to attach this to the ship. So let's do that as well. You could just right click, more, attach to object ship, and then click on the ship, or you could just code it. But if you want this to move with the ship, you're going to need to attach it. I'm not doing that for this demo. And of course, when you fire it, you're going to need to detach it and then enable simulation true. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere because it's attached to the ship, right? So let's go through the disable geo on it, and let's just pick a missile real quick. I'm going to grab unmanned vehicles. Let me pick something that looks like a missile. Here's a Tomahawk. Call it T1. All right. And so what I'm going to do is just straight up go to dev console, T1. You could attach this the same way as before. T1 attach to M1. And where do you want to attach it? We're just going to go 0, 0, 0. I know this because I've just used it so many freaking times. Bam. All right. So it's attached to the actual aircraft, but you see it's not, the pitch bank isn't right. So what you're going to need to do is the same thing for that, is set the pitch bank on the missile the same way you did on the aircraft. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm doing this all trial and error in real time, so bear with me. Edit. Let's find our set pitch bank, and we'll just use it on the same call. Set pitch bank, copy. We'll go on to our T1, edit T1. We're going to use the very same set pitch bank command on this one when it's created. All right. And hopefully, since it's already attached in the OME, we don't have to use the attach command as well. And it probably will. So let me just grab that and just do it. Dev console. Here's my attach command. I'm going to go into T1, edit. Why it does that? Paste it at the front. We want to attach it first. And then we're going to set, actually attach it because it's going to move, and then set pitch bank once it's attached. Save it. And then the other thing we want to do is disable geo on the MiG. So let's go to the MiG. Come on, VBS. There we go. Thank you, sir. Edit object. Sorry, I'm in a hurry. First thing we're going to do here is let's try disable geo. TRUE. That's going to disable every geo on the thing. Type it right, and we want to say this, disable geo. All right, and that's going to make this jet invisible. Okay, save it. And now what you're going to see, you should just see a Tomahawk fly out of the thing. Even though it's the airplane flying the mission, you're gonna just see the Tomahawk. And then you literally add some smoke and mirrors, not mirrors, but smoke to it at least later, with some kind of particle effects, or maybe strap something else to it that makes smoke. There's all kinds of ways to do this. But the point is, you got to get out of the box, totally out of the box thinking on this, and just start doing what works, as opposed to what is intended. Notice you don't see the aircraft now. Alright, so here we go. remember, we attached it. Whether you attach it or not, when you go to enable simulation true, the first thing I'm going to do is detach M1, or what is it? Yeah, M1 is the MIG's name, and then enable simulation. Let's see what happens now. Bam. We just had a cruise missile fly out. I don't know if you saw that, but let's just take a look at it. Lock camera. There goes our cruise missile. It's following its waypoint. Not too bad. Alright, and at this point, before it pulls up, you're going to want to interpolate. So measure the distance and then interpolate it into the target and blow it up. Otherwise, it's going to want to keep flying. Yeah, it's not designed to crash. Alright, that was a perfect example of the proof of concept. I hope you enjoyed it and that it brings you some use. See ya.